On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, gun giveaways are back. Freeze has never owned a Glock, a lesbian and her 10mm, and a new video series premieres this week. Good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 90 of the John1911 Podcast. I guess that's not morning either. What am I talking about? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, it's not morning.
It's 6 o'clock at night. So
yeah.
Well, it's been a long day. What can I say? It's been a long week.
Yeah, that's fact.
So we are doing this one mobile as well, another podcast. But are you using your Freeze reached out to me, and are you using your new fancy Bluetooth whatever thing you had texted me about?
No, my new fancy Bluetooth is a piece of shit.
Okay, because you sound immensely better right now than you did 5 minutes ago.
So I'm going to be returning the new fancy Bluetooth probably tomorrow and trying out something different.
Okay, because I am pleasantly surprised at how well I'm sure our listeners are as well. So,
yeah, hey, what I was thinking and what actually transpired are two different things. So,
yeah. So,
oh well.
So you're going to do a trade war with your cheap Chinese Bluetooth and send it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with the mobile podcast, it works well, but I have to keep my phone in front of me. And with the Bluetooth, it allows me to be able to move away from the phone without, having a drop in the sound quality. Because, instead of, like you have to be on the microphone, when we're in the office doing a podcast, you got the microphone in front of you, same with the phone. But like if I turn my head away from the phone, I just think the whole Bluetooth thing will help, but it has to be a non-piece of crap Bluetooth for it to work.
Yeah. Well, at least, maybe it means we can't do super long podcasts anymore. You can't get too comfortable. Maybe that's a good thing for the listener.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got lots to talk about, lots of news and lots of things that are, percolating. I guess we'll jump right into the big one that I'm sure the listeners are most interested in. We are bringing back gun giveaways.
God help us.
God help us.
No, look, I'm happy that we're giving guns away to people because, I, as well as you do, love giving shit away.
I do, actually. It's fun.
It is fun. And obviously what we picked this time around definitely will not get the hate and angst our last giveaway brought down upon us, which is still mind-boggling to me to this day. But hey, whatever.
Yeah. History has not borne the argument against that giveaway item has not aged well for those people. So, but you know what? What I think about the positives with the giveaway, and I'm we gave away a lot of weapons. I mean, not hundreds, but we certainly gave away a fair amount. And I will never forget one of the most memorable was the guy won, and he's active duty military, and he was so grateful and so happy because he literally was like, I never win anything. I never win anything in my life. I've never won anything. And, it was so, because even when I was not, dude, you won. And he's like, well, I just want you to know that I don't want to get my hopes up. And I'm like, dude, you've given me your ID. I've proven your identity. You have won this gun. It's not going to change.
Yeah, there's no getting your hopes up. Your hopes are there. You've won. It's a done.
Yeah, and it was and there was some issue too with his identity and his command staff having to approve some stuff because of his status. But I just the conversations I had with him in private, it was just so neat, and I miss that when I think of the positives of the giveaway. I like to think of that guy. He's just the guy that bought some Chris Kyle shirts from us. Yeah. And, wasn't even, he wasn't like what I would call a very active active member of our community. You know, I mean, I'd never heard of him. And you know, it just was a real positive experience all around, as opposed to the flaming, you know, rolling dumpster fire that the Russian sniper turned into.
Why
So,
are you giving away $100 gun? Well, my response to that is twofold. One, it's not $100 gun, and two, so what? Even if it's $100 gun, we're giving it away.
yeah, we got so much hate over that it was, you know, and again, I understand there's maybe people listening that are like, you know, what does that matter? I mean, you care if people like you. Well, that wasn't the issue. What was happening is every day we were spending more and more time deleting and banning and responding and addressing complaints that were coming in on social media or email about this goddamn gun.
Yeah.
And I just had it.
Man, we were spending hours dealing with something that's like, man, this is supposed to be fun. We're giving it away. You don't have, you know, it's like,
yeah, it was bad. I got pissed. I mean, you know, I got pissed off. I will admit, I do have a temper, and it just hit me. It was one too many, and I was done. I said, fuck it. It's shutting it all down. So, you know, looking back, we've had a couple years. I think it's been a couple years since we've given a gun away, right, Freeze?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, and part of the issue was, you know, once somebody signed up for the giveaway, you were signed up forever. You had to unsubscribe. And, you know, you had people that came in for the Glock, but were there for the 930 Mossberg, or were there for, you know, some pistol. And, you know, or the, you know, there are people that, you know, they signed up for the M1 Grand giveaway, but, you know, they ended up also being there for, you know, some other gun that they are not that interested in. So the new giveaway system, I don't have it all worked out yet. The programmers are working on it, but, you know, just because you're on the mailing list doesn't mean that you're in the giveaway. And, you know, we're also going to have a weighted system. So basically, if you know, are really interested in like a particular gun that we're giving away, you can do things to increase your odds of winning. And if you're less interested, you can either opt out or do less things and, you know, decrease your odds of winning because you're not that invested in it. So, you know, we can kind of self-select people that are in the running who want to win it, and that should mitigate a lot of the horse shit that we had to deal with people that were rolling for guns that didn't want them.
Well, you would think, but there's always that one guy.
I will be banning some motherfuckers. I guarantee it. The ban hammer, I have brought that out of the case, and I polished all the brass on it. Oh, yeah. Nothing brings out the trolls like doing nice shit for people.
Yeah.
So I guess we better actually, instead of complaining about all the back office stuff, people that are listening that may not have followed all of our stuff, what the hell goddamn gun are we giving away, Freeze?
I don't know, a Glock something or something. What is it? A Glock 21?
See, everybody, I told Freeze off pod, I was like, you better be positive about this gun, or I'm going to kick your ass. So, okay.
A Glock 18, a Glock 13, a Glock.
Glock 18. It is a Glock. So, you know.
God.
So, it's a Glock, and it's the model specifically is a Glock 21 SF. So it's a 45 ACP Glock. It's the large Glock. SF is supposedly the slim frame, so it's a Gen 3 gun. It has factory suppressor sights, and it has a factory threaded barrel with a factory thread protector.
Now,
so it's a lot of gun.
In all fairness, not, and you know, our regulars know that I'm not a fan of the Glock, but in all fairness, as much as the people decided they did not want the M11, they almost got the M11 because I almost kept this for myself. Because if I'm going to have a Glock, having one in 45 ACP with a threaded barrel, with factory sights set, with factory suppressor sights, that's the Glock I would want.
Absolutely, because it's a fantastic suppressor host. You don't have to put any money in it. You've got it. It's ready to go. You either shoot it as a 45 ACP Glock, or someday, if you want to get a 45 ACP gun or a suppressor, there you go.
Even though I don't have a Glock currently, because, well, in all fairness, I've never actually owned a Glock.
Is that true?
No,
really?
That is absolutely true. I've been offered Glocks dirt cheap, and I won't take them. I don't like them. I mean, I won't even take a Glock cheap to flip.
Wow, that's saying something.
But honestly, I seriously thought about keeping this bad boy for myself. I thought about just slipping over to the armory when you were out and about and just like bringing it on back to the house, going, "What Glock?"
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I bought it because it was an impulse buy and it was cool, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take that one. But I didn't really do any research as to is it California? Can you get it in California? Can you get it in Massachusetts? I don't know what we're going to have to figure some of that out, and probably.
Look, here's my thought on this. I'm sorry if you live in a communist state and you are not eligible to win this gun because the representatives that the good people in your communist state decided to elect don't allow it. Tough. There's nothing I can do. I can't feel sorry if you live in a state that allows you to not have your constitutional rights. So whatever.
Yeah, so I can't. The thing is, I can't pick giveaway guns to try to please the lowest common denominator state. So we'll look into it. We'll research it. If somebody in California can, for example, win the gun, but they can't take the mags, they need 10-round mags or something, or maybe that's true in New York. I have no idea. The Gen 3 guns have been around a long time. So, we certainly are. I don't care. We'll send you a crippled gun and let you deal with it. But
I'll be more than happy to send you a gun with no mags. But the problem that's going to kill this in like Massachusetts and probably New York is a threaded barrel.
See, if somebody had mentioned that online, that a threaded barrel in itself can be a restricted item, and I don't even think like that. I'm like,
because people that don't live in communist states don't think it like that.
Yeah, because when I'm opening the lid on a mason jar and threading the lid off of it, I'm like, ooh, it's a restricted item. I don't think of threading as being restricted. So
we can only accept a jar with bayonet lugs on it.
Yeah. So it's a good giveaway gun. It's a good suppressor host. Hell, I don't even have I love the Glock 21. I got a Gen 4 and I don't even have a Glock with a threaded barrel on it. It's a gun I would have bought for myself. So I'm like, you know what? If I would have taken it, it's a good giveaway gun. But there is an unexpected twist has popped up with this gun. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, are you talking about the fact that this was supposed to be like a police trade-in and it turns out to be a brand new freaking gun?
Yeah. So I'm like, it's a giveaway gun. We're going to get in this cheap, kind of fire this back up, see how it goes, experimental, flip it quick, get another one. So I'm like, yeah, police trade-in gun, threaded.
I've been thinking about that, and it makes sense. And
the one that it was portrayed to me, it had suppressor sights, threaded barrel, but it didn't even have a thread protector because it was a trade-in gun. And so this gun, it shows up at the armory, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I called up the dealer, and I'm like, hey, we're looking at this. This gun looks new to me. I thought it was supposed to be a used gun. He goes, hold on. Click, 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 click. He goes, nope, it's new. I'm like, did we pay any more for it? He's like, nope, you paid the used price. I'm like, awesome.
Works.
It works for me.
Okay, so it's not a police trade-in. They just threw us a new gun.
Somebody threw us a new gun. I don't know how or why or what, or maybe I misunderstood the price.
This is what I was thinking of when when you opened it up and told me that it was a new gun. I thought, well, it makes sense because most PDs, they get issued Glocks, they issue them out. They don't issue threaded barreled suppressor sights guns to the average patrol officer. It goes to stop teams or SWAT or whatnot. And, and it wouldn't be unusual for them to have a new gun that's not been issued to anyone sitting in there. And then when they get new issued equipment and they get rid of the old, it's still a new gun, but it goes out, That's kind of like where I was at with it.
And that is I've been so busy. I haven't done a deep dive. Like, I'm not doing Inspector Clouseau trying to figure out what the history of this gun is. It looks new to me. I'll look more closely at it and see if it's a blue labeled gun or whatever. But see, you are bringing up a good point. A lot of people don't understand. See, if you carry a gun for a living, and what I mean by that, if you are bonded with insurance, what you as a civilian can do to a gun is in no way representative of what a person who's bonded can do to a gun. It is very difficult to get a police department to be able to change a barrel out on the gun and have their insurance still work on that gun. So it has to be factory. Everything has to be factory for liability reasons. And that's just that's to keep from getting into that whole hair trigger, or if there's a problem, or if there's a malfunction, or someone gets injured, or somebody, the wrong person shot, or the right person isn't shot, so you mitigate for insurance people. They mitigate all that by basically saying, if it ain't factory, we ain't insuring it. So it is possible this could be factory new and unissued.
I mean, it's possible. A lot of people out there, these are things that unless you're in the industry, people don't think about, because honestly, doesn't mean anything to the average person, in day-to-day life. But a lot of people don't understand that there are certain restrictions people have to abide by.
Yeah, and there are more Glock 21s out there than people think. I remember there's a guy I used to work with. He's a cop at a major metropolitan PD. They got a lot of money. Their standard issue service pistol is a Glock 21, and he personally is not a fan of that. I mean, he's kind of a real accomplished trainer and shooter, and he understands 9mm versus 45. But his command staff and his department, that's what he inherited, so they have to carry the 21. And I actually thought about maybe reaching out to him and seeing if they they have a threaded option in their table of equipment. I would be surprised if they do, but they might. Let me tell you something. The last time I saw a large framed Glock in a duty holster, this was probably 15 years ago. And I was in this dive bar in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh,
Savannah,
Georgia over the years.
You've seen many a what in Savannah, Georgia?
I said I've spent many a day in Savannah, Georgia in the past. Oh, but anyway, go on.
And this was a dive, or like a major dive bar, and there was this woman. She was a cop. She was working detail there, and she was, very, very small woman, petite woman. Not like 100 pounds, but she was, she was a short woman. She's in shape, kind of butch. Like, I don't know this, but I just would perceive her to be a lesbian. I don't know why I perceive her to be a lesbian, but something, I think she might have even had like crazy short hair. Just everything about her was it was beyond like I'm on duty masculine energy. It was something else was going on there. So, we got to talking, and I'm looking at her equipment, and which I'm sure she's not used to having guys do. And I noticed she had a full sized large frame Glock. And I was like, oh, you guys are doing the 21, huh? She goes, no, 20. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You're carrying a 10mm? I don't even know how this girl got her hands around that gun. Yeah. So
So
But
you say you were checking out her equipment, you were talking about her gun, right?
yeah, not her lesbian bits. So, and
Hey,
I mean, hey, you know what? She was not an unattractive woman, as I recall. I don't remember exactly, but I remember thinking she's not the most unattractive lesbian I've ever seen. But for some reason, she did send off the like, I'm a lesbian vibe, and I can't remember why. But I just always remember, I think of Savannah, I think of the lesbian and the large frame Glock 10 millimeter. So whenever I see a cop carrying a large frame gun, I always think of her.
yeah,
And so there's my story. How long are we going to roll this giveaway? You saying like 30 days?
30 days from the day we roll it out. 30 days later, we'll pick a winner.
So do you think if we announce this on YouTube, they'll survive? Or did I announce it already? Did I put it on YouTube?
Don't know.
Because here's a concern.
I think
I mean, I officially roll out the announcement on YouTube. The problem is, after 30 days, YouTube's going to start shutting down all the gun channels. Somebody may actually find out about the giveaway on YouTube and then not be able to find out if they won on YouTube. So but whatever. I mean, at this point, we don't care. I'm Vimeo anyway. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. I can't spend time worrying about it because we're on Vimeo, and honestly, YouTube shuts us down. That sucks. It sucks that YouTube's doing it, but at the end of the day, I don't care. I can't spend the time or energy worrying about what YouTube does because I have control over that.
Yeah. And part of the motivation for even bringing these back is the realization that YouTube's over anyway. It's like, you know what? As long as they shut everybody else down too, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. I mean, we're in a much better position with the whole YouTube deal than like a lot of our peers are because they're so embedded with YouTube, literally embedded, that even their websites are destroyed.
And I mean, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for them. I mean, I am. Because that sucks. But when we started this, when we switched over and we started this whole, YouTube podcasting videos, the whole 9 yards,
which is all your fault, by the way. I wasn't going to do this shit.
Well, one of the things I said to you when we were talking about, host on YouTube, host on video, we were discussing this. We knew Facebook was going to shit. We knew even back then YouTube would eventually go to shit. I mean, because, we're not stupid. And we saw the writing on the wall. The one point I brought up is you get in bed with YouTube, YouTube owns every freaking video that you put on there. Because in the terms of agreement, you agree that they can do whatever the hell they want to your video. And that was one of the deciding factors that caused us to go to Vimeo.
Mm-hmm. And, that's also one of the reasons why I'm not really thrilled to go to BitChute. Because everyone's like, go to BitChute. I'm like, I've looked at BitChute. And sure, they may allow all this stuff. But it's like, okay, I mean, so what? It's just like YouTube. And eventually, when BitChute gets enough traction that they want to go more corporate, they'll start throttling the content they don't like. And you're fucked. And even if they monetize and do ads, you're trusting them to tell you how much money you've earned. And I've got a real problem with YouTube on that. All these people, I'm not going to say who it is, but there was a big YouTube channel, big gun channel, and they had made a public announcement as to how much money they get from monetization from YouTube, and it's $180 a month. And it's like, for as big as this channel is, it's like, get the fuck out of here. And here's the thing. With like Vimeo, you can just run your own commercials.
Well, there's a guy, has a big YouTube presence. And he's not a gun guy. I'm not going to say who he is, but he's not a gun guy, doesn't have anything to do with the gun industry. And he was making a pretty good living on YouTube. And when YouTube demonetized everyone, he got caught up in that because they didn't demonetize just gun guys.
Well, I think there was something called the adpocalypse too, because there was some issue with ads running on what they considered not family friendly videos. So they started, really chopping back on all that.
Yeah, well, he actually posted a picture of one of his checks from YouTube, and it was like, I don't know, like $120 or something like that. It was crazy,
And here's the thing. But my point is, even before the big whatever, if he's this big YouTuber, he's got all this traffic. YouTube's a black box. They tell you, like, let's say you're getting $3,000 a month in ad revenue from YouTube. You're like, hallelujah. They're supposedly splitting it 50-50. Show me. They can't, or they won't. They could be making $12,000 a month and paying you $3,000. And I suspect there's problems there.
Yeah. I agree. And YouTube doesn't actually, by their terms of agreement, they don't have to show you anything.
Yeah, they don't have to show you anything. But the nice thing is, with John1911 and our video hosting, if, I don't know, give me a name of a company that you would love to do business with. Because I don't want to name one of mine. I want to name one of yours. Give me a name. Somebody gun company you love. Quickly.
Somebody's gun company?
Yeah, like a product. Like you love like Sig Sauer, right? You love Sig Sauer.
Yeah, sure. I like Sig Sauer.
Sig Sauer goes, hey, we'd like to run commercials on all your videos. And it's like, no problem. We work out the terms. They give me the commercial. We figure out how long it's got to be. And then we determine all or some or the videos where their commercial can run. And, we run it for X amount of time, and then we figure out, if it's working or not working, and then we renegotiate. And you and I get all of that money. We control it all. There's none of this like watching a video on YouTube and then seeing an anti-gunner fucking ad in your, in your fucking pre-roll. It's crazy bullshit on YouTube. I hate YouTube. I don't hate YouTube like is in a personal level the way a lot of people do. I hate YouTube as a business model because I'm a businessman and I recognize that YouTube is full of shit for the creator. So speaking of which, since we know that we're getting off of YouTube, we had come up with a new video series and we filmed some of those today, which plays into a lot of my traveling. And you actually came up with the name for the series. Do you remember the name you came up with?
I did. Secondhand Showcase.
Say that again, because you may have chopped out on me there for a second.
Secondhand Showcase.
That is correct. So, what this video series is we get a lot of people that we have the armory and the reference collection, and we're always looking for certain things for various reasons, and we don't publish what they are. But in the course of our travels and our acquisitions, we see all kinds of interesting firearms. Maybe it's a model of a firearm that's too valuable for us, or maybe it's a duplicate of something we already own, or maybe it's just something that's simply way too expensive for us to own. And so, I think a lot of our listeners, they are because they're not as mobile as we are. They are basically stuck either dealing with large commercial retail chains in their area or whatever they can find on the internet, which can be real limiting. So, if I'm traveling around and I always hit particular gun stores. I've got lists all over the country, and some of them I don't hit for years, but I know they got a used gun case or a used gun counter. And so I beeline right in whenever I'm in town. And now, instead of me finding a man like, hey, Freeze, you're not going to believe this cool gun that I found in East Texas in this little gun shop. Now I'm going to do a video on it called the Secondhand Showcase. And we can do a video on it, a quick hit, show the gun. We'll put some information in there. And if you're watching that and that's a gun you are legitimately interested in, you can just reach out to that gun store directly and ask them questions, wheel and deal, buy, sell, trade, and we're not even a part of it. But
Absolutely.
it gives us a way to feature the mom and pop gun store, the non-corporate chains.
We get to showcase firearms that we find interesting that are actually for sale in a gun store showcase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have no connection with this. I mean, we're not making anything off of it. You know, this is just, you know, we're going to show something to our viewers that we think is cool. Hopefully they'll think it's cool. Maybe they won't think it's cool, and that's okay too, you know, but the items that we do showcase in this video series will be items actually up for sale, not our items, not items we're selling, of course. But
yeah, we don't sell guns, and we're also not getting a piece of any of this. And in some cases, it's possible that gun store may not even really quite understand what we're doing.
And if that's the case, we'll showcase the firearm, but you know, obviously we won't give any sales information or where it's at, because that's totally up to them.
Yeah, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to film stand at the counter or film a 2-second hit, you know, a 2-minute video, a hit on this example of this gun, and you know, as opposed to seeing them at, you know, some expensive auction house or in some museum. This is sitting at a used gun store in, you know, I don't want to say in Vermont or something, you know, in some backwoods little mom and pop place. And, you know, also, you know, sometimes too, what's interesting in the used gun cases is not always necessarily the used guns or the milsurp guns or the collectible guns or the guns that are out of production. But sometimes it's interesting to see which guns, how quickly they end up in the used gun case. And the perfect example of this, I was in Texas or Louisiana. I was somewhere in the Gulf. I might have been in the Panhandle, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, somewhere down there. So I'm really narrowing that shit down. And I went to this pawn store. And I'll tell you what, this pawn store was fantastic. It was in a college town, and it's on my list to always ever go back there. I couldn't believe how many used guns they had in that store. I mean, they had like there was an ACR in there, the Remington ACR, the Bushmaster ACR. It was amazing what they had in their pawn shop. In their case was an H&K VP40 pistol. And I think that gun had been out for 3 months, and it was in their used case. And I was like, damn, you know, maybe I need to pick up a VP40, you know, because sometimes people, they buy guns and then they decide they don't like them, or they buy other guns. You know, there's guys that they're like cars. They buy the new hot gun. They buy it, and then when it's no longer the new hot gun on the internet or in the media, they dump it and they want to buy the new hot gun. Well, those are opportunities for you to pick up a gun at a good discount.
Absolutely. Or they realize that 40 caliber ammunition is crazy expensive, and they immediately turn around and trade the VP40 for a VP9, which they can afford to shoot. And that's fine too, because that's where you get to score on a used gun that's fairly new on the market.
Oh man, that reminds me. I knew a girl who had inherited. I don't know the exact situation. She was estranged from her family or estranged from her father. And I guess he had some firearms. He had passed away. She hadn't really spoken to him in a long time. She went to clean out his stuff, and she found these firearms. And she was asking me for help, like, how do I evaluate some of these guns? What are they worth? Marky, I know you're a gun guy, you know, and I'm not. And, you know, I'm a single mom. You know, maybe some of these I can keep for myself. So she had popped up with it was a 1911. It was one of those Springfield EMP 40 guns. It was a Springfield EMP. It's like their micro compact 1911, but it was in 40.
Yeah, that's
and it was unfired, and she liked it because it was metal and it was shiny. It was brand new in the case, and she wanted to keep it. And she's like, I like the way this one looks. I'm going to keep this one. That could be like a gun I can keep, like, you know, in the house.
It's not a fun shoot, though.
Oh, no. And I warned her, and I was like, that gun is going to suck fucking eggs. and you shoot it, you're going to take a loss on it because it's going to be a used gun, and you are going to hate that gun. And she decided she wanted to keep it. And about a year later, I'd run into her, and it came up, and she eventually ended up selling it. Yeah, because that's a perfect example of a gun that ends up in a used gun case.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. But you know what? If you're looking for a little 40 caliber pocket rocket, that's not a bad gun to have. And if you can pick it up in a used gun case at a decent price and it's virtually brand new, why not?
Yeah. I mean, the truth is there are some guns I would never buy, but, at a discount, well, they start to look a little bit more attractive. Like here's one. Like here's two. I'm actually perfect examples that I'll give our listeners for the reference collection. There are two guns on the market that are not doing well right now, and I have been eyeballing them because they're going to be great guns for the reference collection for various reasons. They're not going to be commercially successful. They're going to eventually stop being made, and the values of them have collapsed. They're going farther and farther down. And then eventually they'll go up, and they'll be desirable because you won't be able to get them anymore. The two guns are the Standard. It's that bullpup shotgun made by Standard Shotgun in Connecticut. It holds like 15, 16 rounds.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: that is a well-made shotgun. And I'm not a big bullpup guy, but that gun is so mechanically interesting and so unusual. It's kind of like the Hakeem rifle, and they're going now. I'm seeing them now and for like $800-900 because they're not selling, and that gun's going to go away. And it's like about $800. You know what? It's a good time to strike and pick one of those up for the reference collection. Whereas when they first came out, I mean, I don't know, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, and it's like no, And the second, at
that price, but hey, what the hell?
Yeah, the second gun that I'm eyeballing because eventually it's gonna go away because it's not a commercial success is the Beretta ARX. Is it the 100? Their version of the Scar, their tactical tuna, Tupperware, polymer assault rifle.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like the one dealer that we always talk about, he just got some in. They're like $800. You're seeing them on Gunbroker. You can see them for as low as $800. I think some of the police supply places on the West Coast, they're getting them for like $800. And there's other people still trying to sell them for $1,400. And it's like, yeah, $800. That'll be a gun. We could pick it up, put it in the reference collection. Somebody ever has a need to want to get familiar with them, yeah, we pull it out. Here you go. Take a look at this one.
Yeah.
So. So it doesn't always have to be, the old desirable stuff. Sometimes it's stuff that doesn't really catch on commercially, but we recognize them as being unique enough for the reference collection, and so we scarf them up at discounted prices.
Yeah, well, also bear in mind the reference collection doesn't include $10,000 drilling rifles either because they're cool. Because
there's
a budget that has to be abided by.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing you a little bit. Are you doing something different with your phone? It's kind of like the microphone's kind of like tin canning on me or something.
No, I'm not doing anything different.
Okay. All right. There you go. We'll see if it shows up on the recording or not. So, we actually filmed the first two episodes of the Secondhand Showcase, and there are some pretty rare guns, probably a little bit too rare for our needs. But, there's guys out there that, they're into that high dollar stuff and that collectible stuff. And, these guns will sell to the right buyer. And so I think maybe, we could help a mom and pop gun store kind of get these things out there. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be fun. And I think our viewers will get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Look, who doesn't like, look, it doesn't matter if, you want to buy it, can't buy it, not interested in buying it. The fact is, it's always cool to see, unusual things that are out on the market for sale.
Yeah.
And this isn't some, D-bag walking around SHOT Show looking at guns on tables from all the manufacturers. These are actual guns that are in the wild, just waiting for someone to take them home.
They're out there ready to be. You can trade into them. You can wheel and deal. I mean, they're out there. So and that's that. I thought that was kind of a neat concept. And so we see a lot of things, and people ask how we get things, and a lot of it's just legwork. And so, might as well share it with people. So, all right. Well, we've been going about 40 minutes, so I think we better wrap up this episode of the podcast. Anything you want to add before we shut this one down?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, this wraps up episode 90. Can you believe it's 90? Yeah. Episode 90 of the John1911 Podcast. If you want to see some pictures of some of the stuff we were talking about on pod, go to our blog page, John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.